allow me a moment to prepare for the following review. And there, that should do it. Also, ow. I'm John Renton with my review of WWE Raw in Dallas. Coming off of a pretty damn good Money in the Bank pay-per-view the previous night that was mired by a few minor streaming issues with the cock, and whenever my cock has streaming issues, I go to the urologist. But enough medical talk and enough gross talk. I'll have plenty of gross talk later in this review, as you guys know, because I tend to be, good-natured and completely mature with my humor. Clearly not, because you guys must be new to this channel if you think that, and if you did not pay attention to the streaming cock issues. So anyway, I was looking forward to seeing what they were going to do with this particular episode of Raw, because in a month they're going to have SummerSlam. In Allegiant Stadium, they got to load up this goddamn card. Two matches are going to be, Cena and Roman, and then Edge and Rollins should be pretty goddamn good. They set up another one that's going to be happening in SummerSlam on tonight's Raw, and not very happy about that. I wonder if you can guess which one that is. Also, let me know your thoughts on this particular Raw in the comments. The best way I can sum it up is to quote somebody that I really don't want to quote because they're a pandemic, anti-masker piece of shit. But this, it's all I got, this. Because there were a few good things, and then there was just a bunch of bullshit that just mired it. And 3 hours of wrestling on Monday, it's just too goddamn much. They can't, even with the crowd back, there were points where the crowd was popping. Like, they popped in the beginning, they popped at the end, and they popped a few other times, and then they had to really sweeten the crowd noise. Because they have really gone, crazy with the oversaturation of the crowd noise since they still think they're in the fucking Thunderdome, as opposed to the non-fucking Thunderdome. Man, can't we get beyond the fucking Thunderdome? Thankfully we are. Let's never mention Thunderdome again, even though I will, because they recapped it a few times, or a few moments from that, during the show. So, and his name is John Cena. Wap-a-doo-da-da-da-da. He's all fired up and everything. He points to a kid that was, there for his 11th birthday. I bet that made that goddamn kid's year. And that was good. That was really good. And I will say that while I'm not Cena's biggest fan, he does feel like pretty much the biggest goddamn star right now that they have next to Roman Reigns. Because Cena still has something left. Now, he doesn't have much left. He's only going to wrestle at SummerSlam, maybe Survivor Series, and I would say probably WrestleMania. I think WrestleMania 38 is it. Now, he was talking about the reaction to Money in the Bank, which was electric. Dun, 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 dun. And why is he back? It's not for 17th, a record-breaking title reign, even though Ric Flair had like 22 to 24 title reigns. Because he did title switches in Puerto Rico that just weren't counted. And I'm sure in Japan. But anyway, the whole point is Cena's not back for that. He's back for the fans, but he's also back because Roman Reigns is an asshole, and they edit that, which is pretty good. And the crowd starts chanting asshole, but not quite like they did at Vince. And then Cena says that Roman isn't as over as he thinks he is. You don't need to tell people how over you are. They'll tell you. I will say that much. Cena is right. Now, is Cena pandering to the crowd? Sure. He's a face. Of course he's going to fucking do that. And this is a pretty fired up promo. This is good. He was basically just hooking people to watch SmackDown, which is fine, but also Riddle came out. He's like, and Cena's like, I finally get it, bro. And then they say, bro, 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 bro. And they say, bro, 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 so goddamn much. It was like a mixtape. Say bro like 20 million times. So, we come back, and it's Miz and America's Most Wanted, as John Morrison wants to be called. Met John Morrison in an indie show 3 years ago, and I'm glad that he's earning that big money. I just wish it was something better. And he was able to, I guess apparently said for Money in the Bank, he was man moist enough to slip and slide. Ooh. He's having fun with this, I will say that. Styles, Almost, and Morrison versus the Raiders and Riddle. Raiders and Riddle sound like a weird cover band. Byron was choking after Miz got him wet. Have fun unseeing that. Or have fun seeing that. So Morrison got sandwiched between two men, and then they went to the break. The match was fine. Almost got in his spots, and it was fine. Morrison, doing some great parkour, and eventually Riddle gets the dripstick away from Miz and gets, and sprays all over Almost's back. Which I never thought I'd actually see a high Caucasian guy spray, tall African-American man on camera. Again, always delete your search history. And then he pretends that he wasn't there. Wasn't even that, it was Owen. And then Miz is like, no, it's not me, it's not me. And then Styles is trying to get him to stop, and Morrison gets hit with the Viking Experience. 1, 2, 3. The match wasn't bad, it just wasn't great. So, Riker then relives strapping another man, just like his ancestors. And I'm not going to, ignore the fact that Cracker Commander Riker is still employed despite other good people have been released. This guy has no value. Regardless of his opinions, he has no value to the company. He's not any good. Here's Elias to strum his lengthy instrument. And then Elias versus Jackson Rectionist in a Symphony of Destruction match from out of nowhere. Literally out of nowhere. Why is this feud continuing? Why did this feud happen? Why is Jackson Riker here? Why is Elias, even still being featured in matches when he's always getting beaten? We have keyboard, symbolism. This is one of the worst matches of the year, easily. It's on my list. We get a drum set. We get the crowd not giving a shit. They tried to dub in crowd noise for Jackson Riker. And then Elias came to say cello. I just came to say cello. And then he's bleeding, making him the victor. Derb, if you haven't been watching this, shout out to you. We get a tableplex, and then please end this now, Corey says, speaking for all of us. One of the few good things Corey said on commentary. Yeah, and Riker won. Okay, this is not going to work with Jackson Riker. He didn't even get cheered in Dallas. At least seemingly he did not. That is not good. Apparently, people that were in the live crowd were not cheering him and heard pretty much crickets for him. Good. He should fucking get crickets. He shouldn't even be in wrestling because he's not any good. So anyway, Mansoor says, hey, Ali, let's team together. You want to teach me stuff? I agree. What better way than to work by my side? Ali's like, all right. And they called a truce. So, and are going to team up and probably win the tag titles next week. Sheamus has his jock on the wrong part of his body, McMahon. And it's a metal mask. So that's going to come into play a little bit later. He faces Humberto again. Charlotte's championship celebration. Okay, so she makes it all about her, as a heel should. I don't have to take a page from anyone's book because I wrote the book. You're taking pages literally from Rick's book, or maybe Vince's. Here's Rhea to basically, she gets a good reaction, and they aren't counting the NXT title reigns for Charlotte. She's an 11-time champion, when I thought she was a 14-time champion, or a 13-time champion. Anyway, Rhea wants a rematch. Pierce and Sonya come out to agree, even though Charlotte doesn't want to, because she said she could beat Rhea on any given evening. Even though Charlotte just beat her last night, so that's a bit weird. Then Charlotte chops Rhea in the knee and then leaves, kicks her in the knee. Alexa's Playground later. So we get Natty and Tamina versus Shayna and Nia's knockoff Pam Grier haircut, and I don't understand what that was about. The crowd booed and also didn't give a shit. Why is this happening again? I wrote this a lot. Reginald ends up distracting, but that leads to a super kick, and Shayna gets pinned 1, 2, 3. And then Reggie gets, basically, Reggie gets laid out by Nia, that is. She gives him head and lays him out. And Reggie sucks chants. Now, I want you to keep in mind they chanted Reggie sucks. Then we again get 24/7 stuff. People are racing down, they trip, and Tozawa gets in the ring, and Reginald suddenly is getting cheered. Reggie, and then he does some stuff. Does a standing Molly go round. Very impressive. 1, 2, 3. He's the new 24/7 champion. Byron then notices the drunk women behind him, which was kind of hilarious. Just like they're all reacting, he just looks right behind. I don't know why it was funny. Yeah, new 24/7. Can we drop the 24/7 championship, please? I don't have a problem using Reggie in the ring. Guy's athletic as fuck. Don't do 24/7 championship stuff. Sheamus has pub graphics for his entrance. Tags? You like tags? And Kross is going to debut tonight. All right, then. That was sudden. So we get Sheamus versus Humberto. It's a contenders match. I've seen it enough. I've seen it plenty. Priest is watching backstage. I'm sure one of my followers, you know who you are, you were perfectly fine during this. Humberto hits a missile drop kick later for 2. And then we get the mask stuff like Humberto hits his hand, ow, my mask, and then ends up, getting headbutt, and then bro kick 1, 2, 3. So there you go. Sheamus win. Sheamus is going to lose to Priest probably at, SummerSlam, I imagine. And then Lashley is coming out for an open challenge and says he destroyed Kofi and no more talking. MVP proceeds to then cut a promo, and then Lashley says more stuff. So obviously more talking. MVP says that he knocks the city of Dallas, saying, well, of course you react to the Almighty because you haven't seen a champion in a while. I believe besides the Mavericks, have the Dallas Stars won a championship? Genuinely asking. I don't follow that much hockey. We get what chance? So of course we do. MVP takes responsibility for Lashley being distracted lately. That's fair. And we are back in business. Who's the open challenge? It's Keith Lee. Keith Lee's return. It's going to be a big hoss battle and everything. And Keith Lee gets in a few shots and loses pretty quickly. pretty goddamn quickly. Like, Lee got a pop. It's not that I expected Lee to win, but he got his ass pretty much handed to him. Like, he hit a few shots, and then Lashley was like, fuck it, I'm just going to do what I did to Kofi. And then the Hurt Lock they get countered, but eventually Lashley hits a spear, 1, 2, 3. And then we get somebody coming back, everybody's favorites, Goldberg. Yeah, because it's 1998 WCW, and they still think that Goldberg, who can't even kick and can't even do his entrance without breathing hard. And look, Father Time's undefeated. That guy wasn't even that good in 2003, 2004, because he was a great athlete, but that was it. He was never a great wrestler. He didn't need to be, but the bloom is off the fucking rose now at this point. He yells at him, I'm next. The crowd's chanting Goldberg. Maybe they dubbed him in chants. I don't give a shit. Who wants this? If Lashley doesn't beat the fuck out of Goldberg in a minute. And I'm talking like maybe Goldberg hits one spear and then Lashley pops up, spears him, Hurt Lock, and just, ragdolls him. That's it. We do not need Goldberg in a wrestling ring in any capacity in 2021. The man got inducted in the Hall of Fame in 2017 and has had more matches in WWE since then, I think, than he had on pay-per-view during his 03 to 04 run. So anyway, seriously, what the fuck? Why? Why is Goldberg here? Wait, again, why is Goldberg here? Ow! Why is Goldberg here? Man, I've had head injuries. I probably shouldn't do that. Then Jinder and Co. are here to talk about stopping Drew from winning Money in the Bank. It's Jinder's birthday. So they have really bad singing from, I believe, the guy from Indus Share. No, it was the guy from Superstar Spectacle. I'm actually not sure which one. He was interrupted by Drew, who had a chair and then got another. And man, that's going to help international relations. A Scottish guy laying out a Hindu guy. And man, he just beats the fuck out of him. The crowd's chanting along with all the chair shots. This is a good way to feature Drew. It gets him out of the title picture and has him beat the fuck out of Jinder. It was fine for what it was, I guess, but it's like, am I really interested in a Jinder-Drew feud? No, I understand it, though. And then Kross gets virtually no reaction. He might have gotten a few, but they didn't have Scarlett. They didn't have the smoke and mirrors. They didn't have the pomp and circumstance. Karrion Kross is a really good athlete. I got to meet him in an indie show about 1.5 years ago. He is very good. This ain't gonna translate to a big stage. This ain't gonna work at all. This is gonna do some this is gonna do a lot of damage to him. He's the current NXT champion, so if he ain't dropping it by next takeover, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I know they called up Owens while he was the NXT champion and he feuded with John Cena and then lost to Finn Balor. I want to say it was at Beast in the East, if I recall correctly, but still. Kross, if Kross ain't losing on main event I would say by right after the Rumble, if he ain't right on main event exclusively, rather by right after Mania 38, I'll be shocked. I don't think Vince is going to care about it now. He'll care about Scarlett. Oh, he'll care about Scarlett, but this may be a quicker descent than Mark Merrow had down the card. Jeff has no more words back. Now everybody can shut up about it. It was also back, when Jeff Hardy could actually move. Jeff Hardy versus Karrion Kross. It was messy. Kross looks to fist Jeff from behind, but Jeff's like, no, I can't take a fisting from behind. And he ends up hitting a weird snap bomb out of the corner. Gets his feet on the ropes because Jeff's a heel. 1, 2, 3. Thanks for coming, Karrion Kross. Great Raw debut. You lost in 3 minutes. Then he says, Karrion Kross says, Jeff Hardy, just made the biggest mistake of his life. Ooh, I don't know. Victory Road 2011 says otherwise. But he's gotten over that. Good for him. Everyone will fall and pray. Clearly not, because you lost in 3 minutes, you fucking Q fuck. Maybe choose better friends and don't act like, a goddamn idiot. So Alexa's back, and also Lily's back. I should have just said Lily's back, because Alexa was on the pay-per-view. Why is Eva here? Why is Piper just being saddled with a gimmick that is not going to get her? It's not going to really get, it's not going to get any sympathy on her. I'm not going to care what happens. So anyway, don't say anything bad about Lily, and then Eva does. And then the doll made Eva trip. To be fair, Eva probably got distracted by something shiny, or she forgot how to walk, or she was thinking about athletes kneeling during the national anthem, and she, got all crazy and it, rotted away her all read everything brain. and what's left of it, and that's why she fell. When the doll is not the worst part of this segment, that's sad. I'm sorry, why is this happening? Is it leading to Alexa and Lily versus Piper and Eva? I mean, I got my money on Lily pinning Eva, in all honesty. It would make more sense because the doll's a better worker. So then we get Rhea versus Charlotte. Big fight feel, I guess. Crowd was into it at times. Rhea sold the knee a lot. There was a nice Northern Lights on one leg for 2. Figure 4 by Rhea. Got reversed, riptide, foot on the rope. And then Charlotte hits Rhea with the title outside for a DQ. So mind you, Charlotte's like all like this, and then Rhea attacks her, beats her up, and then Nikki Ash's music hits. And she runs to the ring, and Rhea's just like, I could stop her from cashing in because I want to beat Charlotte, but no, I'm just going to let this happen. And she just stands there and then walks off. Nikki cashes in, hits a crossbody, if you will. 1, 2, 3. Okay, if they can't show some restraint with the fucking Money in the Bank cash-ins, especially for the women, it's fucking ridiculous. They did with Carmella, the worst Money in the Bank, women's Money in the Bank winner, but at least they show restraint. And Alexa, they didn't. Bayley, they didn't. Let's see, it was Bayley. Alexa, Bayley. And then, my point is they, and the women's Money in the Bank last year was just Asuka winning the championship because Becky went home and decided to be a mutter. So that's really... nothing against Nikki winning the championship, but it's like, okay, this does nothing for me. I look forward to her hopefully having a decent reign. I think it's going to end at SummerSlam. It was for a short-term pop, and they need to just scrap the Money in the Bank concept, bring it back in a few years, because at this point, it doesn't create any more excitement. The women's Money in the Bank, check out my Money in the Bank review if you want to know what I thought of stuff, but the men's was fine. The women's was just messy despite some of the talent involved. This wasn't a very good show. In fact, it was really kind of shit. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.